What I have on screen in PicturesToExe is a fully completed demo slideshow using 20 images. Everything's in place, including the end credit for the music that I'm using. And if I take you to the timeline, you can see the music's in place and nicely faded out at the end. So let's just assume for the moment, let's go back to the slide list. Let's just assume for the moment that we want to replace one of these images with a piece of video. Now I just happen to have a piece of video here, and it's just about 11 seconds long. If you look down at the bottom, you can see it says 11 seconds, but in actual fact that is a rounding figure. It's very slightly more than 11 seconds, but less than 12. So really we're looking for an 11-second gap to place this video. We could have used a marker or some image or blank as a holding area, but for demo purposes I think it will be quite okay if I drop it into one of these images here. So that's what we're going to do. I'll go to my timeline, I think, because I'm going to select one of these images and hit delete, and it will leave the gap there, and I can drag my video down into that position. When I do, we're going to be asked if we wish to optimize this particular video. So let me drag it down and put it in position, and there's the optimization of video clips that we're going to see every time we drag a video from the file list to the slide list. I think all of the information we need about this little panel is typed within it. PicturesToExe recommends converting this video file for smooth playback. Now I've done a number of different tests, and I found that when I allow PicturesToExe to optimize the video clips, they play smoother, and I can't hardly see the difference between that and the original. We get the opportunity to stay with the default settings here, to save a copy of our video, because that's what's going to be produced, and to save it in the same folder. Well, while we're making a slideshow, that's exactly what we're going to need. But of course, if you did want to place it into another folder for some reason, you can just tick that little circle and then browse for where you want the file placed. All I'm going to do though is to click the Optimize button and allow PicturesToExe to do its work, which will take, I don't know, probably about a minute. Now the one strange thing with the Optimize button when I click it is at first glance we think nothing is happening. But if I take you down to the bottom of the screen, we've now got two PTE icons, and if I select this one, now we can see that we're actually doing exactly what that little panel says, which is now disappeared, which is to optimize the video. You can also see a video that I must have created earlier. Once it's completed, we can always remove these just by clicking the remove button, and we can close down the video converter. Now what PicturesToExe's done is to create another video. Sometimes we need to just pop out of the folder and back in to redraw the video. And if I scroll down, now we're going to see two videos. We're going to see this one, and if I make it a bit bigger, you see what's written on the bottom of it. Here's the original, called Sunset Video. PicturesToExe has optimized the video and it's called it Converted, so we've still got our original in place. But better than that, it's also placed the Converted option down here, so we've got the correct one, and we can see that in the file name down at the bottom center of the screen. So we know what the length of this video is. Once we're sure we've got the video in the right position in relation to the music, let's push it back just a little bit. What I can do is to go to my slide list, because on the front here I can now just highlight that value and put 11 in there, and I know I'm going to get all of that particular video between these two stills. Now this particular video was shot with a Canon 5D SLR, and it was shot from a tripod. You'll notice when we have a look at this in a few moments that there's no movement, and of course that's the correct thing to do here. There's nothing worse than taking a subject which should be stationary and it's jumping around, so always use a tripod or a solid surface to shoot the video, unless of course there's good reasons to hand hold. So there I've got my image or my video set to 11 seconds. So what we can do here is we can select the image before it, and we're going to have a little on-screen preview here. But you do need to make some allowance for the fact that you're not going to see things quite as sweet as you should do, because I cannot capture enough frames making this video to do justice to a slideshow. So please make those adjustments when I press play. But you can see that the video worked fine, and we didn't have the video stopping unexpectedly halfway through or part the way through, because we got the timing just about perfect. Now, one other thing you may have missed is the fact that you would normally expect to hear sound from any video you've recorded. Well, I've temporarily removed the sound from this piece of video because I'd like to deal with that in a later video and separately to what we're doing here. All we need to do here is to go through the basics of optimizing and dropping the right size video into the place within our slideshow. But let me demonstrate that other issue which I mentioned earlier on. Let's just assume that we put 15 seconds there, and I'm going to put my cursor back onto this image, and we're going to watch that again. In fact, I was going to turn the sound down, but I don't think I will. If you just watch this, then after it's run the 11 seconds, of course, it's going to come to a crashing stop. Now, of course, if that was someone cycling through a scene or a car going around a racetrack, it would look pretty bad. So it is quite important that if we're going to put 11 seconds into our video, that we don't have that video running for any longer than we'd created it for.